First of all, let me start off by saying I think this is all a great ploy on the part of my son to get me to read Harry Potter. About 7 or 8 years ago, when my son was about 9 or 10 years old, I read Harry Potter to him. I didn't find it all that interesting. I don't particularly care for witches and witchcraft and all that kind of stuff, and I really had no interest in continuing to read the series. I still don't really have very much interest in reading this series, but I'm intrigued by my son's idea to have an ongoing online discussion of the different books, reading about 4 chapters a week and having a conversation over that course of that week about what we've read. So this week we're discussing chapters 1 through 4 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Again, I read this about 7 or 8 years ago, and my memories are mainly of the really nasty aunt and uncle at the beginning of the book, who I certainly wouldn't want to live with, and owl messengers and a game where people were flying around, a sport, I guess, on brooms playing Quidditch. Not stuff that's all that interesting to me. But now I'm signed on to read the series, all of it. Yikes. So, like I said, I remember Harry's aunt and uncle and his cousin Dudley as people I really would not have wanted to live with, but boy, as I'm rereading it, they are really an unlikable bunch of people. I feel sorry for Harry, but I don't get the impression that he feels particularly sorry for himself. It comes across more in the way that the author portrays Harry and Dudley and the way they're treated. Harry can do nothing right. Dudley can do nothing wrong. And yet you get the feeling that despite all of the trials and tribulations and difficulties that Harry goes through, he's going to come out on top. Mainly because of the mysterious things that happen to Harry. I was struck by the similarities between Harry and the snake at the zoo. Both of them are kept in captivity in rooms or cages that are too small, lives that are too small, people thunking at their windows and doors. And the fact that neither of them have ever been to the land that they belong in, the snake from Brazil and Harry from Hogwarts, or the land of wizards and wizardry, I suppose. So I have a question for those of you that are following in this series. Do you think that the author J.K. Rowling had intentionally the snake escape from the cage as kind of a preview of what's going to come for Harry? Escaping from the life at the Dursleys and moving on to the life that he was created for. And then you have the persistent arrival of these letters. Someone's determined to get a hold of Harry, despite everything that Mr. Dursley does to try to stop him. Someone who knows where Harry is sleeping, even though that place keeps changing. And then his rescuer arrives in the unlikely form of a giant by the name of Hagrid, a wild-looking giant. The same giant that rescued him when his parents died 10 years ago on Halloween in an explosion, Harry finds out. Harry also finds out that his aunt and uncle have kept a lot of secrets, many secrets, everything secret from him about his parents and who he really is. Hagrid also tells Harry about his parents, that his mom was a witch and his father a wizard, and that an evil wizard named Voldemort killed both of them and tried to kill Harry, but wasn't successful. And this must have stumped Voldemort. Harry was only a baby, and yet he lived. Voldemort had killed many people who had gotten in his way, according to Hagrid. And Hagrid told Harry that Voldemort vanished that night, which made Harry even more famous. Imagine the life that Harry had and discovering that in a whole nother world, I guess it's a whole nother world, Harry is famous. Children all know who he is. And yet in this world that he's been living in, he's been beaten up and harassed. And we find out that it's Hagrid that's been trying to get these letters to Harry. He comes and hand delivers Harry the letter, which is addressed to Mr. H. Potter, the floor, hut on the rock, the sea, And the letter contains Harry's acceptance letter to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And Hagrid informs Harry that his name's been down since his birth to go to Hogwarts. And here's how Hagrid, on Harry's 11th birthday, the stroke of midnight, to take Harry once again to rescue him from the life that he's living and to prepare him to go to his new life at Hogwarts. This is Carol. That's all I have to say about that. Grab a book and read along with us. Post your thoughts here on the page. I look forward to hearing what the rest of you have to say. Bye.